All right, yo. So this is transcending your next cycle, transcending new cycles. For you to transcend your next cycle, it starts with you being able to recognize what you're into. It starts with you being able to acknowledge and take responsibility and take accountability by first identifying, taking a look at the habit pattern, the habitual, the train of thought, the train of feelings that you go into that create a snake, that create the Ouroboros symbol, which is the snake just biting itself. You creating a shape and a form mentally first, because it always plays out 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th dimension. And what I mean by that is you being able to create a thought and a feeling, or circulate a thought and a feeling from into an outward cycle and make it create a bigger expression. You know what I'm saying? Choose the biggest, the baddest spirit at the right time, right place type of shit. Because all we're really doing with this shit is just like basically spirit summoning. We're just creating a mental disposition. You create a cloud, you create a mentality. This shit is not pseudo. Everybody creates a mentality, and everybody has a type of mentality they like to create. And there's different areas of those mentalities interacting and things like that. Like, we feel with our heart. We use our gut feelings, our instinctual feelings to lead and guide us through our life. We use our brain to calculate and think about things as far as our left brain and right brain hemisphere, or as far as it's your left side of your body, right side of your body. Because you need to understand, a lot of this shit is just symbolism added to it with science. No one ever even saw the DNA or whatever that's holographically projected at you, or as far as the pictures that they make for the description of those things. It's just the way that those things flow, and they try to capture the temperament of it and things like that. So it's not like you look in the microscope and you see like a bunch of cells. You may see that, maybe, but the other one, where it's like a holographic projection, no, that's their depiction of how these things might even work. Or the mechanic, by understanding the mechanics of it, you can start to create some kind of holographic representation of what that shit means. And here, this is why this shit is true fucking period. Because even for you to even make an alphabet, you'd have to understand what are you even doing with the elephant, the bet? What are you doing with these writings? These are just not letters. These are sigils. Like A in the morning, like you wake up in the morning, and things like that. AM, morning time. Earliest 2 hours of the day when the sun is rising, first house, Aries, and things like that. And all these things are reflections of the third dimensions, down to even how the geographical locations represent that and things of that nature. Because even that is even like, a representation of that. Some locations have certain attributes and characteristics as far as the modality, which is basically the temperament that that environment creates, or that environment existed within. So it develops that particular type of it's a bug, man. The bugs want to listen to the knowledge too. They're like, oh yeah, this is some good knowledge. We want to listen. But we all creating different types of mentalities, and we all really created the world together and shit like that. We just wasn't aware of ourselves like that, so we became aware of ourselves inside of a being. As far as us being aware of us aware of ourselves, as far as us being an individual spirit. That's what soul of man. It's like soul of a man. That's like a container. So we create our own container within this world, and we have a bunch of other life forms and creations interacting as far as of different species, different different places where so that's what people make the same. Different folks, different strokes, different geographical locations, different problems, and different ideals, different solutions and shit like that. Because everybody's mind is different, so everybody's mind is at a particular point to learn about where it's at in the evolutionary scale as far as you being a spirit. But there's multiple ways to come at this reality. That's why this reality is like fit. You can create a body at a lighter density and things like that, and you can hover above this reality. You can have a better eye view of what's going on as far as with your mind, and as far as with other people's mindset as well. So every other life form be next to each other, like the plants and shit like that, the trees, those animals, the humans, and all those are just have different orders, different evolutions within this chakra, within this being that we're on. Because we became aware of ourselves inside of a being. It's not the other way around, like God came and he created everything. Like, that shit was going on way before this shit. You was just new to this shit. This shit ain't fucking you. You was the one who's new to this shit as a person, as a spirit. That's why you're not aware. That's why you're coming up short. That's why, certain things is not clear to you. Like this static TV, sound, and screen that you can't navigate through, and they just give you their representations of their medicines, of their pharmakeia, their systems, their energies, for you to uphold and shit like that, to the point that you'd be even in a religion and you'd be like, damn, I don't really want to do this, but damn, everyone around me is doing it. That's why you can't even be in the environment and looking at the environment like, okay, the environment is the right thing for me to do, because the environment is not the right thing for you to do. You got to do what you got to do. You got to learn about you. And then when you learn about you, then you can learn about not the environment. Fuck the environment. Learn about the parameter. Learn about the monad. Learn about the north, east, west, and south. Learn about the fixed stars. Understand those allegories that those Christians and Muslims making about the 7 stars, the 7 bodies, and things like that. Then you start to see a lot of this shit, a lot of these things repeating itself everywhere. If you understand even the colors, you understand shamanism and shit like that, you understand even further. Oh, okay, so people just made depictions of those states of minds, of those energies in fucking movies, in religions, in fashion, in all these things. It's about you being able to create a shape and form that represent that. Like if I want to create something dangerous, let's say on Halloween, I might want to wear fangs, dark colors, things that make me appear like this, more into the container, like, you know, because color black is the mixing of all colors: red, yellow, purple, blue, red, magenta, which is basically the same thing, RGB, but it's the mixing of all those things together. That's even like a type of body that you can even create, but you got to create that body in a good way, and that's like number 8. The infinity, the cycle that you're doing, which is basically you understanding about the parameter, understanding that this shit is not no fucking play. Like, this is some shit that motherfuckers been using to rule over the world since fucking eons and times. And if you track this religious systems, you would fucking see, but you have to be a sheep and a bot for you not to see it. You would see clearly that this shit came from motherfucking practices way before that. Even the Egyptian shit, it came from Mesopotamia, and like, you know, the Anunnakis and shit like that. And there's even probably like ones even before it, if you even backdate it further. But it doesn't even really matter at the end of the day. At the end of the point, at the end of the day, you gotta learn what they mean about these mathematical positions, because they gotta put the truth right in front of you, and they're using these things to communicate with each other either way, because they don't communicate like sometimes, you know, when we know we got signs, we got time dates, we got boards, we know what we got to do. We know our covenant, we know our religion. This is what we got to do, what we do to run the world and shit like that. And the average person wouldn't know about that type of shit, because the average person is not observing even the environment around them. You just think like, okay, yeah, I woke up in the morning, my boss told me to come in at 8 o'clock. My boss told me to come up at 6 o'clock or whatever. Depending on your geographical location, depending on your industry, depending on who runs that vice or role. Because if it has to do with the vice of the geographical location, then you will find more of the people that are behind the scenes, as far as magicians, sorcerers, and shit like that, behind the scenes. You think witchcraft is like some circle and a star, and it's that too, if you understand what that means. But it's also being able to create a shape and a form outside of you, like the news network, like religion, being able to take what we can all do and put it into an energy so that you feel like, oh, okay, I'm already fulfilled in this area, so I don't need to pour my energy towards that direction, and I don't need to become aware of myself. I don't need to start appreciating and loving and valuing the right things. I don't need to start to have the ability to communicate with my environment the right way for you, because it's always right or wrong. It's not for everybody. But if you can make something work and you can make it stand above this shit, aka you go to the 4th, 5th, 6th dimension, then you're able to bring back a group of thoughts and feelings that's not familiar to reality, leading you to making better creative stuff and leading to making better objective stuff, depending on how you formulate your mind to build your reality. Because one part of your mind for your subconsciousness, and those are one of the 2 chakras we cycle through a lot. Yeah, because the sun as well and the moon goes the fastest. That's why that's why bitches, their feelings switch up fast, because they're just like the fucking moon. The moon just be cycling its feelings fast and shit like that, and girls be the same way. Nah, I feel this way today. And you as a man, you as the objective pillar, you gotta not get emotional. You gotta not get in that world by you modeling that behavior of manliness, of stoicness, of you being able to, you know, withstand any type of right brain chakra. Now you use the right brain because you're a fucking G and you understand fucking alchemy, but You understand how to decompartmentalize yourself and shit like that. It's like you can exist, you can just concentrate your mind in different parts of yourself. You can do whatever you want with your reality. It's your fucking reality. It's basically just like Netflix. You got a remote, you pick which reality you want to, but you have to spend the seconds and the minutes in that movie that you clicked on mentally in your Netflix category. A lot of y'all be sitting back, nah, I got so many different things to do. And you know, they got their operational variables as well in place to be able to counteract certain aspirations and certain things that you want to do based on using energies like guilt, shame, doubt, fear, and things like that. And they're able to take that and shape it and form it and use whatever you already got against you. So it's like they create something. It's like a war in heaven, and it's like they're just sucking you up as a resource because they need to go create some other shit somewhere else and still be able to exist. And these motherfuckers be going hard. Like the witchcraft is hard because you gotta understand how to do all these elements and shit like that. You'll see in your life, damn, I'm actually living pretty good still, or just carrying your cross. That's how you even get all these symbolisms of the Ankh, of the cross. All these different things are just symbolisms of the monad, the Euphrates rivers, the 4 rivers in the Bible, 4 elements. All these things just symbolisms for the cycle of life: hotness, cool, hot, dry, wet, or whatever the other one was. But you can see how these things are polar shifts of each other. Yet when you can make these polar shifts work, you can make some really good shit going forth type of shit. Because like you understand all situations and you understand what it takes to create a smooth situation. But you also understand 7th house, Libra. But you also understand 1st house, Aries. You understand your individuality, your sense of self. You have the capability of leadership and things like that in your area of expertise, in your domain, and things like that. So you got a place where you're at, and you got people outside of that understand that you're at that place via them observing you. The shadow government did it for collecting data, information through their tablets of stones, their Bibles. It could just be allegories with the human mind and certain light rays, certain transformational degrees of elementals that you can take somebody through, so you can transform them into a different dimension, into a different realm, so you can put them in the position where you want them to be. But really, it's all just an illusion, and you gotta actually just start to see it from a bird's eye view, understand, oh, okay, this is what's really going on. But if you keep acting like the environment, how the environment programmed you, then you're not going to be able to tap into those hidden energies, aka you're not able to observe your A and B, your 1 and 2, your yin and yang, your external, internal, your conscious, subconscious, or conscious awareness. You being able to be consciously aware of your reality, being able to use your feminine pillar, your subjectivity, to be creative about how you want to go objectively, and you can end up with a unique outcome or circumstance and shit like that. Because they demonize it, they do a lot of different things. So it get deep. That's why I said about good and evil. They be doing both. They don't give a fuck. That's how you be running the world in 2,000 years. Confuse the fuck out of motherfuckers and shit like that. Just, yeah, I'm saying real shit. But it's a good lie in a way because it sustains their reality. Because it's like if nobody controls this realm, nobody becomes the master of the universe in a way, this realm just continuously sink. If everybody sits back and doesn't do anything about their reality, doesn't build, doesn't structure, gets outdated, then you're not gonna be able to survive in those new days. So it's like that might even bring about the dark ages and the dark days and shit like that. If you even want to look at it from a astronomy, but really astrology, right brain perspective, as far as what is happening in this current period and things like that, because the world is already telling, the world is already showing you, but you might just get distracted with all these new things, aka these new phones, these new technologies, these new AI systems. They're becoming the new gods, they're becoming the new assistants. So you're not going to be looking like, I need to pray inside of my own world internally and could be of that state of mind, be of that disposition. You're going to look outside of you for this thing to do it for you. But really, all they did was just switch up the energy, switch up the form. It's really just the same thing. And that's going to even give them more of an ability to rule over the world for the next other 2,000 years or shit like that, or however it be. But yeah, man. Regardless, however, continue to generate in your mind a state of love, joy, peace, and self-control. You know, be really able to exclude what's going on in your reality, only focus what's going on in your mentality. What do you want to bring? What do you want to create? Because from this programmable matter, this reality, you can summon, you can create, you can shape, form, and matter. You can morph your mind into whatever you want to. Just don't do it for some dumb shit like be a squirrel, be a dog, or some dumb shit like that. I understand those attributes and characteristics, but sure. But I mean, don't necessarily be an idiot and get lost in the world, in the bullshit of the world. Start to understand your own material and start to understand who you is, because you've been going through this cyclical cycle for a long time, and now you got to look at yourself like, am I even sane? What's going on? Hold on, right now. I better investigate this shit spiritually and find out what the fuck this manifests third dimensionally, because it lead to you. If it lead to you fucking being broke, if it lead to you for you not manifesting any types of wealth, health, wisdom, great relationship with yourself, prosperity, you know what I'm saying? Then, bruh, you might want to motherfucking double check that shit, homie. How the fuck God has problems? God don't have motherfucking problems. God has fucking wisdom. God has knowledge. God has self-love. God has a respect for himself and others. And real shit. If you don't have respect for your head or your fucking body, then you just might not functional. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm gonna keep drinking my tea. I'm gonna get my motherfucking sun. Take care, y'all. May peace be with y'all. May God be with y'all. Well, I guess that's up to you at that point. Yes, real shit.